All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to step right into the cockpit to really understand a critical skill that keeps everyone safe when things don't go to plan, the in-flight diversion. It's a perfect example of staying cool under pressure, where pilots turn what could be chaos into total control, all because they have a well-rehearsed plan.
So let's picture this. You're the one in command of the aircraft, up there cruising. You're following a route that you spent a lot of time carefully preparing before you even started the engine.
You see, planning and preparation are the absolute name of the game for any safe cross-country flight, and yours was totally flawless. You've got your intended track, your drift lines, all your progress marks laid out. You know exactly where you are and exactly where you're headed.
But in aviation, well, just like in life, right? Even the best laid plans can go sideways in an instant. The sky is a dynamic place, and a pilot has to be ready for absolutely anything.
And then, bam, a call comes through from flight services. A surprise storm has just popped up directly over your destination, and that airport, well, it's no longer a safe place to land. This is that exact decision-making moment the training manuals are always talking about.
So, what do? This isn't an emergency. Not yet, anyway. Panicking? That is just not an option. This is a diversion, and it calls for a calm, methodical response to find a new, safe place to land and get there without a single issue.
This is where all that training just snaps into place. You don't guess, you don't just eyeball it. Nope, you use a really powerful mental model, a procedure that pilots call the in-flight page. Now, it's not a physical page. It's a mental checklist that turns a super complex problem into a simple, step-by-step process.
So this whole diversion procedure, it breaks down what could be a really stressful situation into 6 totally manageable steps. It's basically your new script for success when the original one just got thrown out the window.
Okay, so the very first thing you do is slow the aircraft down. You give yourself time to think and plan. Then, right there on your chart, you make it visual. You circle where you are, you circle where you're going, and you draw a straight line between them. Simple, clear, and you can do it immediately.
Step 2 is all about figuring out which way to point the nose of the plane. You use the navigation aids that are printed right on the chart, like a compass rose or those lines of longitude, to figure out the magnetic track to your new airport. Then, you'll make a little adjustment for the wind to get your final magnetic heading.
Now, this is a brilliant example of how pilots use simple, super reliable techniques to do quick calculations. You don't need a fancy computer for this. You can actually use your own thumb against the chart to get a quick and pretty accurate distance. It's a low-tech solution that works every single time, even if all the power goes out.
All right, next up, you have to decide how high you're going to fly on this new route. And this isn't some random choice. You have to balance clearing any terrain or obstacles, staying away from bad weather and clouds, following the visual flight rules, and of course, making sure you avoid any restricted airspace.
And finally, the last 2 planning steps. You'll calculate your estimated time en route based on your estimated ground speed. And then, you do the most crucial check of all. Do you have enough fuel to not only get there, but to get there with a safe reserve? This is the final go or no-go check on your brand new plan.
So, with a solid new plan in place, it's time to put it into action. I mean, planning's one thing, but actually flying the plan is what really matters. And hey, just like there's a checklist for the planning, there's one for the execution. Pilots use another simple memory aid, the 5 T's, just to make sure the turn onto the new course is done smoothly and correctly.
This sequence is absolutely critical. First, you turn to the new heading and start your time. That immediately gets you moving in the right direction. Then you adjust the throttle for your new altitude. Once you're stable, you begin to track your progress, matching landmarks on the ground to your map. And finally, only after the aircraft is under control, you talk to air traffic control and you update them on your new plan.
And this right here, this brilliantly illustrates the dynamic nature of navigation. You don't just set it and forget it. No way. At that halfway mark you drew on your chart, you check your time. Is it matching what you estimated? If not, you revise your estimated time of arrival and you update flight service on the ground. You are constantly evaluating and adjusting.
Okay, so as your timer is counting down and that new destination is getting closer, you're not done yet. You have to start preparing for a safe arrival.
You don't just fly until you see a runway. You have to positively identify the airport by cross-referencing it with at least 3 other landmarks on your chart, maybe a lake, a town, a highway intersection. And thanks to your calm, systematic approach, you arrive safely, turning what could have been a crisis into just a routine change of plans.
So this might seem like a whole lot of steps, but all of them work together to build a critical culture of safety. So why is this structured procedure so incredibly important?
Because the diversion procedure is the firewall that prevents a simple change of plans from escalating into a true lost emergency. A diversion means you know exactly where you are, and you're making a plan. Becoming lost means you're in what they call a circle of uncertainty, and that is a much more dangerous place to be.
Ultimately, it all comes back to this one core principle of aviation. The hard work you do before and during the flight, the planning, the checklists, the methodical procedures, that's what reduces your stress, and it's what ensures a safe outcome when things don't go as planned. And that's really the big takeaway, isn't it? This systematic approach isn't just for pilots navigating storms, it's a powerful tool for any of us when we face an unexpected challenge. It's about slowing down, breaking the problem into small steps, and executing a new plan with calm and with confidence.